National Physicians Day, standing in the name of Ms. Fry.
Ms. Fry, seconded by Mr. Miller, Ville-Marie-le-Sud-Ouest, Île-des-Sœurs, moves that Bill S-248, an act respecting National Physicians Day, be now read a second time and referred to the Standing Committee on Health. Debate. The Honourable Member for Vancouver Centre.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I want to thank my colleague from Ville-Marie-le-Sud-Ouest, Île-des-Sœurs, for seconding this bill. Now, it's a pleasure to stand here and speak to a very simple one short line bill, which says that we would like to name May the 1st National Physicians Day. And why May the 1st? Because May the 1st was the birth of a very famous physician, the very first female physician in 1800s who was graduated in New York and came to live here because she was a Canadian woman from Toronto. Her name is Emily Stowe, and she wasn't able to study here, so she actually had to go to New York and get her medical degree. And so the medical profession would like her birthday to be the day that we celebrate National Physicians Day. Not only did Emily Stowe come back, but she came back. She was a very prominent suffragette, but she also helped to create what we now call Women's Hospital and Women's College, so that women, unlike her, could now get to study medicine in Canada. So that's one of the reasons that we're naming it on May the 1st, because of Emily Stowe. But I want to talk about why Physicians Day. Mr. Speaker, you know, well, I'm a physician. I studied medicine in Dublin, Ireland, and I came to live here in Canada. And I actually practiced medicine for 23 years, delivering over 800 babies. And I have to tell you, Mr. Speaker, that was a remarkably wondrous time in my career, because I loved delivering babies. I loved getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning and rushing out and going and delivering a baby. And it was always a great feeling, but sometimes it wasn't. Sometimes babies were born with problems, and that was really hard for a mother that you had worked with over 9 months to get to that point and to know that she was facing the birth of a child. Physicians do that every day. They see that people get sick. They sometimes find that we cannot help people. But all in all, physicians spend their days. I don't think there's anybody in this place who has not at some time or other seen a physician. I think for me, being a physician was a remarkable time in my life, but I wanted to just point out how many physicians who not only look after patients, try to prevent patients from getting sick, look after patients when they are dying, take patients through the difficult time of when they are seniors and they have Alzheimer's. I mean, this is what physicians do. But most of us don't recall that there are still physicians in this country who are making house calls. There are about 1 million house calls made a day in this country by physicians. And it was something I like to do because I get to go to my patient's house and I got to visit them. And I really kind of saw the way that they lived and it helped me to understand what was going on with their lives better. I think as physicians, we were not only involved in healing the sick and in helping people to get better and in preventing people from getting ill, but advocacy was a major thing for physicians. When I was at British Columbia Medical Association, I remembered we worked really, really hard to get infant seat restraints. We pulled all kinds of stunts in order to get the government of British Columbia to have infant seat restraints. In fact, we had a poster that said, "Did you belt your kid today?" with a kid in a seat belt sitting in his little chair or her little chair. We also worked hard to get bicycle helmets. And again, trying to make people take notice. There was a bicycle, someone riding it, and a watermelon in it, and the watermelon fell out and splattered. And it says, "You've got to wear a helmet, protect your melon." There are all kinds of things that one had to do as physicians to move that agenda forward, to try and speak for patients, because many times patients are vulnerable and they don't have the voice to speak for themselves. This, for me, is what the essence of being a physician is. It's not just studying for 7 years and then doing 2 years residency and then finally coming out and practicing medicine. Because when we did, I knew all about the science of medicine. It's my patients who taught me the art of medicine. It's my patients who helped me to understand what being a physician really was about. It was going to bat for your physicians. It was trying to get the best thing for your patients. Consider first the best interest of your patients was one of the things that we believed in as physicians. And then, of course, Patients taught me. Patients taught me about not judging them, about me being able to help them and do the best for them regardless of what I believed as a religion, what I believed in my own moral belief. It wasn't about that. It was doing the best for my patients. It was supporting them through all their decision making and helping to make their lives better. As a family doctor, I can tell you, it was about getting to know their family. It was about getting to make sure that we knew that the family itself was at the heart of what made a patient tick, about what made the patient who they are. And sometimes when you were trying to deal with a patient's ailment, you had to deal with the family. You had to look at the family dynamics. You had to do this kind of stuff that we never think physicians do. And that is why I wanted to even talk about some physicians I know very well in British Columbia who have put themselves out there on the line. They don't get paid for it, but they push hard. I want to talk about Dr. Julio Montana from the downtown east side, where he has worked so much with people who are addicted, where he has worked with people on overdose, HIV, AIDS, hepatitis C, all those people that the world tends to forget or are judgmental about. He has put himself on the line pushing for those things. And Jerry Lynn Pryor, who is a friend of mine, a colleague who moved at one time to try and get women to take folic acid so their children would not be born with spinal injuries. And today she's now pushing for dying with dignity, she herself being in a wheelchair with an intractable disease. Mr. Speaker, I could go on and on for all of the things that physicians do other than just come in and look at us when we're sick. I know how many funerals I've attended as a physician. I know how many births I've attended. I know how many marriages I've attended. I know how many women would call me in the middle of the night because they were scared. They were locked in their bathroom because their husband was outside screaming at them with a baseball bat because he had come home having drunk too much. And sometimes going to bat for them, finding places to keep them safe. This, for me, is what a physician is about. And this, for me, is what we're asking for everyone in this House to support the concept that one day in the year we will say, let us celebrate physicians, the work they do, how integrated they are into our families and into our lives, and how much we want to be able to ensure that this country has physicians. Family physicians take care of about 3/4 of patients and their needs. Today, we'll talk about gender equality a lot in this House. Well, you know, family physicians, 2/3 of family physicians are women. And we now see that enrolling in university to study medicine and graduating even across the board as specialists, et cetera, that in fact we have now got about 45% of women who are physicians. So as we go back full circle and we talk about how being a physician is really an important thing, how many of us depend on physicians when we're helpless, when we're in need, and the trust that we have with physicians. Being a doctor is one of the 3rd most trusted professions in the world. And I think that this tells of the relationship that we want to celebrate when we talk about Physicians' Day on May the 1st. And so, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that I'm hoping I could get support from this whole House to support May the 1st, and perhaps, I know it's just around the corner, this May the 1st might be the May the 1st we stand in this House and declare it the very first National Physicians' Day. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Questions and comments?